Ovaj program sadrži plasiranje robe.
Pozdrav svim gledalcima Arene Sport i dobrodošli u novo izdanje emisije Na klupi. Naš današnji gost je trener Asvela, Pjerik Pupe. Coach, first of all, welcome to Belgrade. It's a pleasure to have you here to have this conversation with you. How do you feel, first of all? How are you?
I feel great. Always a pleasure to be in Belgrade. Nice atmosphere, nice arena, nice fans, nice crowd. So hopefully nice game coming up. I'm happy.
It's great to hear that you like the atmosphere here, and I have a lot of questions in my mind. But the first thing that I want to ask you, which is very interesting to me, you are one of the youngest coaches in the EuroLeague with Paolo Galbiati. We checked, you're younger than Galbiati. And it's interesting actually because one of your players is actually 3 years only younger than you. How is that feeling to be such a young coach in the EuroLeague?
Honestly, I don't think about it every day when I wake up. Probably it's easier for me to understand the players since I played not too long ago. Obviously, it's a different life. These guys, they play so many games more than what I played when I played as a professional player. But I guess it's more interesting for me as a young coach to be able to realize the journey that I've had before and also learn from the best coaches in Europe. I think I'm in between of two generations, the oldest as Eto'o, Coach Obradovic and all them, and the youngest generation pushing, and is really challenging for me as a coach, and it's a blessing also to be a coach in such a competition as the EuroLeague. So I'm learning a lot. I feel already old with all these trips and games, but I'm happy to be the youngest, at least for one more year.
Yeah, you finished your professional career only a couple of years ago. Was like 2021?
I'm bad in years, so...
A couple of years ago, was recently. And right away, you became an assistant coach in Asvel and now the head coach. How was this transition?
Well, it wasn't meant to be like that. I wanted to be like a youth coach. I started actually when I played. So back when I played, I started with U18, U15. And it was very fun for me to teach the kids how to play basketball and also how to develop as a young man. And I had this opportunity to work with Victor Wembanyama. So his first year when he signed in Asvel. So when Tony and TJ, the coach back in the days, when they called me to give me such an opportunity, I said yes right away. So we moved with the family, and I mean, as I told you, it wasn't meant to be. I just kept improving, and it was fun to be a player development coach. Then I moved to second assistant and first assistant. Unfortunately, because you never want this to happen, the coach I was working with TJ, he got cut, and then they brought in Gianmarco Pozzeco. And after they found an agreement to release him, then I was the last man standing, I guess. So they decided to go with me, and so far it's not too bad. And I like the opportunity. Different life, of course. It's crazy life. It's demanding, crazy job, but I like it. It's just, life sometimes is surprising. It just happened to be like that.
Yeah, and after Gianmarco Pozzeco was fired, you took over, and your first game as a head coach was against Crvena Zvezda.
Exactly.
In France.
In France, and fortunately we won this game.
And do you remember that moment, the first game? That game against Crvena Zvezda was your first game as the head coach. I can imagine there are a lot of things were in your mind in that moment.
Yeah, I was so stressed, honestly. 2-3 days before, I didn't even know this was coming. I was working with the coaching staff, with Gianmarco and Edo Casalone, who's now my assistant. And when things happen so fast, you don't have time to think. You just focus on one goal, try to live in the present. And my only goal was to build a chemistry inside the team with the players, build something new, involve everybody. And I guess I put a lot of pressure on myself. Now, with a little more experience, I know that it's not all about you. It's more about the players. So I remember putting a lot of pressure on myself. And of course, I remember this is my first game as a head coach. We won. Everybody was happy in the locker room. We celebrated. It was good. Only thing, 2 days after, we lost against Alba. So I jumped back quick into reality. So it was a good moment.
Mm-hmm. I understand. So, Coach, let me ask you one thing, because since we were talking that you're one of the youngest coach in the EuroLeague, and the gap between you and the players is actually smaller than between you and the other coaches. How to control, let me explain that, because it's easy to have more a friendship, a different relationship with the players. And maybe they even look at you still as a player, as a friend, but need to be different because need to have authority, right? So how do you handle everything?
I guess it's more about leadership than authority.
Okay.
That's the way I see things. You don't have to yell to be understood. Sometimes, unfortunately, you have to. It's mostly during games when things are really going fast. But other than that, on a daily basis, first of all, we're not friends. We're working together. And we're working together to achieve hopefully the same goals. But we're not friends, and we can't be friends. As you're a coach and they're players, you can never be friends. You can be cool or friends outside the court, probably before and after you work together. But as we are working for an organization that's really demanding and willing to win games, there's no friendship. Can be no friendship. I have to be very demanding with them. I try to understand them as much as possible. I try to never forget how I felt when I was a player, when I was tired, when I had feelings, those moments where you doubt. I try to keep this in mind and also not help them stay in that mood, because as a player you always want to be coached. Maybe sometimes you don't want to, but you need to be coached by somebody. So it's not about being tough. This is just about understanding and telling the guy, I understand, or showing him that you understand, but you're willing more. You're expecting more from him or for him also. It goes the same way. If they understand this, that whatever you ask them to do is for both you and them, and eventually more for them actually, because they have a career to build, then I believe that they want to get things from you and they understand that you're here for a good reason.
You were a player, so you will understand it very good. My next question. Your coaches sometimes used to tell you, okay, now I bench you, other players are going to play. How do you feel right now when you as a coach need to say to a player, no, you're not playing now?
Well, he'll play. There'll be times where he will play. So with all these games, if there's one thing good about the actual EuroLeague and the crazy schedule, is that you have so many games that you can easily bench somebody. But this is actually not a good word, because bench is so negative. You can actually play somebody else instead of one of these guys that you mentioned, and he has to understand that probably the next game he'll play, or he will practice a lot more or a bit different so he can get minutes the next time. It's all about who you match, who you plan. It's nothing personal. And this goes also with the way I try to manage things. It's never personal. I can love the guy and sometimes not play him a lot. And it can be opposite. Sometimes you don't really like, it doesn't match between you and the player, but you know that in order to be good and to win games, you need to put him on the court. And if you succeed to help your players understand this, then the job becomes easier. Sometimes, unfortunately, they don't understand, and it's just like that. So you build different relationship, and it's just about the job.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's not personal, because if you hire the guy, you want him. You like the way he's playing, but sometimes if he's not doing good, he's having a bad moment. It's happening. Mm-hmm. And I have the feeling that because in the EuroLeague, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of games. And when they say every games matter, it's really true in the EuroLeague, because in 1 week, a double round, everything can change in the standing. So I think even for players, it's more difficult right now. And you have an important role, you coaches.
True. They should change this. They should say every day matters, or every possession matters, or every single second matters, because this schedule is crazy. But yeah, as you said, there's a lot of pressure, and it's all about also how you approach things. What's pressure? Pressure to win a basketball game? This is not real pressure to me. There's people out there struggling to feed their kids, you know. There's people out there not having a job and struggling with the money thing. So I believe we're blessed, all of us. The biggest salaries, the smallest salaries, we're still part of a great competition, the players and the coaches. So let's just find ways to enjoy things, the journey, life, because it's much more than basketball. That's also the way I approach things with the players. It's never personal, and if you have anything to say, then my office is open. You know, we can always talk. It's just times to talk. It's not during the game. It won't be in front of everybody if it's personal feelings, but we can always talk. I mean, it's a mark of respect also.
It's very inspirational what are you saying, because you said something right. We need to be grateful. We're doing a beautiful job, even media and basketball. So need to be grateful for what we have. But okay, let's talk about the EuroLeague, because we mentioned something, this format. From year to year, we see some changes. Now I heard that the Final Four, they won't play anymore the game for the third and fourth place. But let's talk a little bit about the schedule, because some colleagues of yours were here, like Coach Ettore Messina. I asked him about his opinion, what we should change in the EuroLeague to make the competition better for players, for everybody. So what's your opinion?
Different schedule. Different schedule.
For example?
I don't know how to fix things, but in my opinion, it's too many games in such a short period of time. So if we keep going this way, unfortunately, we will become like the NBA. You cannot play every game 100%. If you're, as a coach, demanding that much with all your players, so they have to go 110% on every possession matters, as I mentioned before, then they will get hurt, because this is not possible to play so many games in such a short period of time with all these trips. Not everybody travels the same, but sometimes with the domestic league and the TV rights, you have to play at 2 o'clock on Sundays, and on Friday you just played at 9 in Athens, for example. It's crazy for the players. So if one thing, I would ask the player union to be more demanding on the schedule and less maybe on different things. You know, they already get now good conditions to work. It's just perfect that they have good money more and more. So this is unbelievable for the players. They have great situations, but they should find a way to let their voice be heard to the EuroLeague, so they can think about different schedules, different agreements with FIBA. Something has to be changed, I guess, if we want to keep that great competition, which is EuroLeague, as a competitive league and competition.
But what are the players saying? Because at the end of the day, they are the protagonists of the EuroLeague. We are watching basketball because of them. What are they saying? What are their suggestions?
I don't know, honestly, I don't know. I can tell you how they feel, what they say. I don't know.
And how do you feel?
They feel tired.
Okay.
They feel tired. And I can tell you honestly, because I have a bunch of EuroLeague rookies, which is fine. You know, we help them develop, but as they come in as well, they realize after a couple of weeks that things are so different. EuroLeague is different from any other European competition. It's much more demanding. You have to take care of yourself, but also the coaches, they be asking so much every day that you cannot relax. So of course, you're not just physically tired, but you're mentally tired. So at the same time, you need to improve and push your limits way further than what you thought could be your limits. So I can tell you that they're tired. So somehow we have to fix things.
I understand. Yeah, we said that the EuroLeague is extremely competitive, and we see only one little problem in European basketball at this moment. Where are the younger players? Because all the younger players don't have the space to play in the EuroLeague teams, because every team wants to win. So if you want to win, if you want a trophy, you need to have players with experience, which is understandable. But on the other hand, these players in a couple of years will retire, and we won't have more kids. All the kids are going to NCAA. So what's your opinion about that?
Well, first of all, we have one very young kid, Adam Atamna. He's just 17, and we're putting him on the court. So not everybody is left for a better situation or different situation. Of course, NCAA is a problem right now for us because of the money. They be getting too much money over there just to play. It's not friendly games, but there's no pressure over there. We talked about the sports pressure. Over there is way different. You get to enjoy life, get a degree, and get a lot more money than what you would have if you stayed in Europe. So somehow same, FIBA has to fix things with the NCAA. Hopefully we'll find an agreement in the next couple of months. I'm not going to say years, because it has to be done soon, so we keep our talents with us. I think in Europe we have the best way, the best coaches to develop players. And I'm saying this in a humble way. Honestly, you can check now in the NBA, there's how many European guys. The best European players are the best players in the NBA, almost. You know, at least they match. It's going to be interesting to watch the All-Star game this year. Probably will change because of the European playing against the Americans. But I believe we have good talents, and this is not going to change. So if we fix things, if FIBA fixes things, and hopefully we get more young coaches to also take risk to put young players on the court, even in the EuroLeague, then we'll succeed to keep them with us. And it won't be a money thing anymore. We can sign 5 years contract when guys are 16, 17 and find ways to keep them with us. Then it just takes a little courage to put them on the court. Sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's not. I mean, Coach Obradovic, Željko, he's been doing this. Now a little less because, as you said, there's more pressure, better players, but it's more injuries also. So I guess with the young players being on the court, it's less risk also to have players out. So it all depends on the coach's vision.
In order to understand your vision, who do you look up to? Who's the best European coach from your point of view?
Oh, they're all good. They're all good. Obviously, Željko Obradovic is the best by far. I think things changed in the way that you cannot manage the players the same way as it used to be done. Some coaches like Duško understood that really well, and they already changed their management of the players. As the youngest coach, of course, Šarūnas is one of the X's and O's masters, so it's always interesting to watch him. And then all of them, honestly, sometimes I watch, it can be NCAA or it can be U21 team, and you pick up things. You know, it's just more about human beings than coaching. This is how I see things. This X's and O's, everybody can learn about this. So you can always pick up things here and there. And as the way to manage people, you can learn from everybody. I can learn from you today. I can learn from any other coaches tomorrow. In a humble way, you can learn from everybody.
So do you think that because of social media, because of everything now, players have more pressure and it's a little bit more difficult to work with them?
I couldn't tell. I can only imagine, since I wasn't a coach back then, I can imagine that it's more difficult now. But it's also probably more interesting since you have to manage a lot more things. So you have to think of everything. Like before, the coach was the boss, was no doubt. Now it's not as true as it was before. You have to show yourself as a leader. If the players accept that you're their leader, then you're safe. It's not automatic. You don't sign a contract and then everybody has to go with your vision. You have to get them with you, and this is, I believe, the first tough thing to do is get them together in one goal and follow your lead. Then second thing, of course, they get a lot more money than the coaches. At least the best players 20, 25 years ago was different. You know, the coach would get €1 more than the best paid players. So this changes a lot also. And coaches don't sell jerseys. So in the money world, everyone will tell you now that if the player sells jerseys, he's more important for an organization. At least that goes for NBA. And since the NBA always comes, and that will be one of your questions, I guess, we're following NBA, let me say, because everyone follows NBA. So the social medias and everything helps this go faster, but we're influenced by the NBA, by the United States. So it will change in Europe. We cannot just stay the same. We pick also American players, and they come here with a different mindset, different education. So somehow we have to adapt to this. This makes the job, of course, totally different. We have to accept it. We cannot bring American players, guys coming from the NBA, more and more real NBA players coming for the best European teams. And we have to accept them as they are. We cannot just bring them and change them, or be willing to force them play, or be as we want them to play or be. So it's more interesting, probably more difficult, but I believe it's more interesting.
Since you're mentioning so much the NBA, we're speaking, you're mentioning the NBA. Well, I have a question because like 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, I cannot remember, there was the news that may shake all Europe, basically European basketball. You said ASVEL will leave the EuroLeague next season. So what's happening? Where do you see ASVEL in the future? It will be EuroLeague, will be NBA Europe? What's the plan?
Same as the coaching job, it will be interesting. You know, we'll see. Who knows? Right now, I like to live in the present. So right now, when we are part of this great competition that's EuroLeague, and we want to compete, we'll see. I think the NBA Europe coming can be a great opportunity for both the coaches, the players, and everybody to have a different market. I don't know if it's going to be one league, if they find an agreement with the FIBA, which would be amazing, so we can have one great league in Europe, or if it's going to be two different leagues. I have no idea, honestly. I'll let Tony and my organization talk about this. I'm sure they will find the best way to keep Asvel in one of the best competitions in Europe. But so far, we're happy in EuroLeague. I like EuroLeague. To me, is the most interesting competition to watch in the world. Let's see where things go.
What kind of advice do you have for some coaches that would like to start? And what's the best advice you received since you started to be a coach?
I don't think I had enough time to get advice from other people. My only advice would be to any coach in the world, don't be an actor, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Because the players, they're too quick to understand who you are. You cannot lie to nobody. So don't lie to yourself. Just be you. If you want to be somebody mean because you're a daily mean guy, then go ahead, be you. If you're nice, just be nice. You don't need, as a leader, you just need to be yourself and accept who you are. The players will love you as you are if you love them as they are also. I don't know about any advice that probably I got it from my family. They said, enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. This is more about basketball. I mean, you can learn everything else, but learn about enjoying life is different. So I would keep this as an advice.
Thank you, Coach. It was a pleasure to have this conversation with you, and I wish you a great and successful season.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Ovaj program je sadržao plasiranje robe.